I am ready.
The following is the agenda for the regular council meeting of the Borough of Compton Lakes Mayor and Council Municipal Corporation in the County of Passaic. The meeting will begin at 7:30 p.m. on August 16, 2023, in the Municipal Building, 25 Lenox Avenue, Compton Lakes, New Jersey. Consistent with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, the meeting will be open for public comments and shall be in accordance with the terms and conditions of the borough's municipal code and bylaws.
Okay. Please stand for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Please bless this mayor and council as they deliberate on the best for Pompton Lakes, and also special remorse for Councilman Cruz on losing his father. Thank you. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting through notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, mailed or all requested and paid for same, and published in the Suburban Trends. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sarah.
Here.
Council President Polidori. Here. Councilman Bay.
Absent.
Councilman Cruz.
Here.
Councilman Deline.
Here.
Councilwoman Kent. Here. Councilman Bennett.
Here.
With us this evening is our Borough Attorney Mark Semeraro and our Borough Administrator Paula Cosarelli.
Okay, thank you. Big crowd today. Big crowd. All right, so it's always my pleasure to introduce a new officer into town. We have an outstanding police department here that really takes community-minded policing to the next level, and I'm glad to say that we're going to bring someone on who will be joining that group and doing the same thing. So, resolution, go ahead, you want to read the resolution?
Resolution 2363, authorizing the appointment of a police officer to Compton Lakes Police Department, Celeste Torres.
Okay.
I need a motion.
Oh, can I have a motion? I'm sorry. Motion. Councilman Cruz? Second. Councilman Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
I'm going to do a roll call. Normal.
Okay, sure.
Roll.
That's not on here, is it?
Councilman Deline.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Celeste, would you like to come up with your family, or whoever you'd like to bring up? Go ahead, guys, come on, you guys can get up.
She was unhappy.
Very well, yeah, absolutely. Come on. I state your name.
I, Celeste Torres,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state.
and in this state.
Under the authority of the people,
Under the authority of the people,
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
May I get the vote with, yeah, with the chief and
Chief, you're welcome. Come on up, you're not finished, you're gonna take a picture.
You're good. I haven't told anything yet, so just keep it up. Okay.
You got my email.
Yes.
I'm hoping all my police officers want to stay for the whole meeting. That would be short and sweet. Nice. That's not it. I'm gonna ask the Freemasons to come up with us.
Good evening, everybody. Pleasure to the mayor. My name is Steve Wendowski, and I belong to Genesis Lodge number 88, we accept the Masons, currently in the world. And we, with our counterparts in the Order of the Eastern Star, ladies, every year we turn the town field for ovarian cancer awareness, right down Main Street in Compton Lakes, USA. So when you see the ribbons, remind all the women to get checked. Very important.
And I have a little proclamation here I'd like to read. Whereas ovarian cancer is called silent disease, is detected in early stages, survival from ovarian cancer is 90 to 95%, yet 5-year survival rates are only 28%. The Town Turn the Town Field campaign was launched by Dale McNeil during the 10-year battle of ovarian cancer. The National Ovarian Cancer Coalition of Northern New Jersey applies to propose the Order of Eastern Star Mountain Chapter number 205. Whereas the ribbon tying and store fronts will provide jointly the Order of Eastern Star Mountain Chapter 205, and the Free and Accepted Masons Genesis Lodge number 88, who met in Compton Lakes at the Compton Lakes Sonic Hall. Now therefore I, Michael Sarah, Mayor of the Borough of Compton Lakes, County of Passaic, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim September as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month and support Turn the Town Teal Awareness Campaign. Give me time. These guys do this every year. It's an awareness program. It's really important. It's really important to get the word out. So I'm glad you came here today. And when you see the ribbon, remind people what it's all about. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
HOA for condos. Oh. You're having some issues
Okay.
with adjoining property. I'm friends with the guy in the back.
I see there's a lot of people, I don't really know what everybody's here for, but I'm gonna give some ground rules on how we approach this, okay? This is the public session. You'll have roughly 5 minutes. State your name and address, please. Ask your question or concern, and we'll try to get an answer to you as best we can. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't get you the answer right away. So with that, can I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Councilman Devine, Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, raise your hand if you'd like to step up and say, you step up.
Hank Palmacino, 63 Green Avenue. Since our road has been repaired a few years ago, it seems like everybody comes down this road.
I'm not sure that's a good
flying down.
thing. There's too much
Yeah, we can't hear,
noise.
I can't hear anything, and I'm close to them.
Can we close that door, Mike? Set them all out, okay.
Is that microphone working?
I don't know.
Testing. Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can hold it up to your mouth.
All right.
There you go. All right, start again, I'm sorry.
Since the road has been, paved, and our street is kind of wider than all the other streets coming down. A lot of people use this street, I think, to get to the bridge earlier or wherever they're going. The other day, as a matter of fact, Sunday, I was going shopping, and 2 cars in front of me, and I was with them. Also, we had to jam on our brakes real fast, because this is another part I was gonna ask you about. The property that's on 26 Skyline, right, that's just before that diamond, that's always overgrown, and everything is on the road. But I see right now, somebody must be starting to clean it up, so I'll bypass that.
Well, no, I'll still bring it to the attention of my building department, and they can take a drive over.
But I was thinking, I don't know if this is gonna fly, but I'm just gonna say it. I would suggest that maybe we either put some signs up or put a police car there, because these guys come flying down. When I say flying down, 35 isn't close to what they're doing. They're doing 45, 50.
And you're saying this is on which street, Grant?
63 Grant.
No, this is on Grant that they're
From
going past.
Colfax to Lakeside.
Can we pass that on, gentlemen, to the police department? You know, guys,
Yeah.
thank you. So I have police officers happen to be here, so we'll maybe get a card there,
That's
do
good.
some check on it.
Well, what else I was gonna say? Also, for the simple reason, if people are speeding down that street, in our particular neighborhood, we have a herd of deer.
Yep.
When I say we have a herd, there's 4, 5, 6 at a time that come out and they walk the streets like they own the streets. They don't care about anything, you know. But about that thing there Sunday, we were coming down and the 2 cars in front of me were coming down. All of a sudden, the first car, he had a jam on his brakes real fast. Was flying out of that pile of rubble or whatever it is, those trees. It was a mother deer and 2 dogs. So I mean, if that guy has to swerve, he's gonna hit somebody's car or somebody else's property. That's all.
We'll definitely get the police
That's
officers
all,
down there.
that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your time. Anyone else? Please step up.
Hi, Helene Zablocki, 6 Butler Street. I want to thank the council people who were able to make it to the Pride Day in June. Your attendance was appreciated and noted, so thank you very much. As I said in a letter to everybody in May, after we had this day, I would come to the council to formally request that you consider establishing a Pride Committee under the auspices of the borough and council. So that's why I'm here tonight. It was a wonderful day. I think as wonderful as I hoped it would be, it was even better.
Good.
And I was very moved by the people who grew up in this town, who have left the town, but heard about it, and contacted us and told us how happy they were that this was happening. So I would be happy to answer questions now or at a later time about it and tell you about the plans, the resources, you know, the things that we did to make it happen. So I just wanted to mention that tonight, and you know where to reach me.
I think that and I'm gonna reach out to our rec department. I think the easiest way to do it would be to put it in an established liaisonship we have now, because the other way takes a lot more steps involved to make it its own group, and there has to be some history to show that it has to be needed. We could start it right away by putting it under recreation, but let me talk to Karen Murphy, who's the director there. I'm sure she'll say yes. And then when it becomes time for the festival to happen again, we can have a subcommittee through that group that meets and discusses how we do it. And then we can also use the rec group to help us establish it and move it forward, if you're okay with that idea.
Yeah, you know, I actually had thought about that. Is there any other group that we would kind of fit naturally into? And I don't think there is. You know, we've done a lot of research to see what towns and other counties are doing, and all of them have worked under the auspices of the town. And many of them, between the first and second year of having an event, really took off. Pequannock is one of them. There was a small group that did their first year, and now they have, you know, corporate sponsors. They did a lot of things that probably would not work for us because of our Pompton Day. We were very aware of not wanting to do things that might, you know, might be too similar to our day. So I would certainly consider any idea, but I think I would like to request that it be a separate entity, you know, however long those steps might take.
All right, so we'll have some communication between the council and see if that's the way we have, and where we're gonna put it, and we'll get back to you on how we'll do that.
That sounds great, thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else from the public would like to address? Please step up.
Hello, George Popov, 1104 Colfax Avenue. Paul, I appreciate the email. However, it just shows that for 12 years, you still haven't established if there's an easement or not. What the hell's going on?
So as we
Michael,
explained.
come on, I mean, 12 years, you can't establish an easement? Now your attorney's saying that he needs further proof?
So what we're doing, and I'll let you.
Maybe you want me to...
Sure, good, sure.
Please.
You misunderstood Paula's email as well as mine.
Okay, I didn't get one from you, sir, so.
All right, well, then you're hypothecating, I guess. You're guessing what I had indicated to the administrator. The title search did disclose the reservation of an easement in a 1926 instrument. And the manner in which that instrument was written, you think it was probably written in the 1700s.
I have no idea, obviously. It's a little before my time.
I thought that I'd be able to read and fully understand with clarity what a 1926 document read, and I have to confess, I couldn't make heads or tails out of it exactly.
And it was a mess. I saw it too, and Paul saw it too. It's a mess.
That particular document, in my read, seems to indicate that it was a private, not a public easement. We have to ascertain who the successors of the beneficiary of the easement were. And at this point in time, we don't have that answer. I had indicated that we need to require the title agency, the title company, to give us a legal interpretation of what this means. And then, quite frankly, the next step would probably be having a surveyor advise as to, if I'm correct, and it was a private easement, who the successors of the property were that were initially entitled to utilize that easement. My read of it seems to indicate that that drainage easement was for the benefit of some particular acreage. I think it was 16 acres or something along those lines. So if I'm reading it correctly, and I need the title agency that specializes in this, the title insurance company that specializes in this, have their attorneys look at it and advise. Then we need to see what those particular acres were, what lots are comprised of that acreage today, and who has those interests, and let the title company advise as to whether or not there's any public interests in it that would enable this borough as a governing body to participate in this. It may very well, and I don't want to draw conclusions at this point in time, it may be very well that only the private parties have the right, and for all I know, you could potentially be one of those private parties. I just don't, I couldn't make heads or
It's
tails.
adjoining to my property, it's not on my property.
And that easement is for some adjoining properties. So it may be your easement right, I don't know. We need them to trace this down and analyze this. This document was not clear. But we did take the time, the document that Paula had indicated, or the search that Paula had indicated at the last meeting that she was going to secure, she got. Then she circulated it, we looked at it, and I advised what the next steps have to be.
Paul, you want to add anything?
No, work is,
Okay, so, look, I know this is not what you want to hear, Mr. Poplin, and I hate saying it.
Now, what kind of a time frame? Okay? I mean, I hear you, but again, you know, within my lifetime.
I understand that, and I can only make them work as fast as they can work. I can't make them work any faster.
So what's the target date?
The next part is going to be getting a specialized surveyor to go in, right?
The targeted date is as soon as possible. I mean, the document came in, what day did it come in?
2 days ago.
Yeah, on Monday. So we already assessed it, I looked at it, and I had advised Paula what the next step was, and I think that we already took steps to that end.
and the title agency was instructed to dig deeper to answer our attorney's questions so that we have a definitive answer, so that we now, once we know if there's an existing easement, then we now can make the plans as to how we're going to get in, but we have to fix the pipe.
Okay. The other part, this concrete pipe has 4 separations. It's washing out my walls. One, I don't know what engineer you had, but the competence is questionable of their assessment of the video. If you want a video, I'll provide it to you. 4 separations where any minor rainstorm washes out. 2, there is no, manhole. Never was. Marthin was full of himself when he made that statement. There was no manhole, never has been, not since 1979.
But we're not using that engineering firm anymore. That's a long time ago, so that...
Sorry, sir?
We're not using that engineering firm at this time anymore.
I know that.
That's a long time ago.
I know that, but it's repeated.
No, I understand.
In the
I'm just letting you know
in the email, there is no manhole, there never was.
Okay.
And the pipe is totally collapsed. not in just a couple of places. Want me to show you pictures of that? I can provide that also.
We don't need pictures. What's gonna end up happening is, once we identify what's going on, our engineers will once again go over there, and I know you don't wanna hear that, and do what they have to do, and we're gonna go by their picture taking. Now, it's not gonna be the one you just named. It is not them. They're long gone. So I know you don't wanna hear this, but you have to give us some time to make this work. We're trying. We're trying.
I'll be coming back, no
No
problem.
problem. Come back. I welcome it.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
Good evening. My name is Mark Quiello. I'm on the Board of Trustees for Summit Falls, as well as Kathleen Strauss, Dan Hallowitz, Darren DiCarlo, and James Jimenez. We're here today because we have a lot of concerns of 735 Hamburg Turnpike. They're doing a very large excavation, and it abuts our property. And the amount of earth that they've removed we feel, is starting to put the land in jeopardy.
Can I jump in for 1 sec? I hate to interrupt you, I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay.
I just want the whole group to know, we've stopped that project. There's a no work order, they can no longer work on that project, and they're going back to the boards. So just so you all know that, that's what's happening. It was brought to my attention, some phone calls were made to me from some of the residents here, and I spoke to the building department, we sent our engineers out, and we stopped the cease and desist order on the work that they're doing there. So they have to go back to the boards now to explain what they're doing. Just on the mountain piece, not what they're building inside. Your concern, which is a right concern, by the way, with the water that's coming off the mountain and how the water's coming down the mountain and how much dirt they removed, was questionable if it was in the plan. I can't say if it was or wasn't, but my building department feels it has to go back. He didn't feel it was enough information.
I have a short video if you'd like to see it.
It's hard to watch a video, but I would watch it after a meeting, and I have no problem. You can send it to me.
Okay.
I would have no issues with that. I'll give you my card, and you can send it to me, and I'll send it to the whole council if you'd like. Or you can actually send it to the clerk, give it to Liz, and she'll spread it all out to us.
Okay. All right, so then we have to wait on buildings. Is there anybody in buildings that we can contact?
Sure.
So that we can get an
The
update?
director there, Sal Poli, he's well aware of this. And he is the one that put the stop work order on it. And we're talking about, just so everybody understands, just the piece in the back now, not the building itself, the mountain that they're
Right,
digging.
right.
And the stone that they brought in, and all those rocks and that whole thing.
And the trees they removed.
And the trees,
no
yes.
fencing, So.
So we can't do it this way, but we can do one at a time. But yes, we're aware of all those concerns that you have, and the trees missing. And look, I can't say what's gonna happen, but there could be fines involved. I don't know. I can't speak to that.
very unsafe situation right now.
Okay, we can't talk from the back, you gotta talk from the front, that's all. When he's done, you can.
That's Darren DiCarlo. He's
Okay.
on the board with.
Oh, okay, since you brought them all up, you can bring them up with you, if he's on the board with you, yeah.
Can I give you guys a handout?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. We'll give it to the clerk, and she'll hand it out.
You know Darren DiCarlo, 87 Court.
Just give it to the clerk, please. Dad, you could say,
So when did this operation stop?
I don't know the real answer, but in the last 2 months, or last month?
Is there a time frame? Because it's left in an unsafe manner right now. So we have videos of it raining and the erosion happening, okay? So there's buildings there, and the foundation is sitting up there. We're concerned with all the jackhammering that's happened, that there could have been something that's happened during it. We felt jackhammering in our residence, all the way on the other side. So no one ever came and inspected anything.
Well, you're not,
That's part of our concern.
well, they might not expect your building, but we have our engineer. So the way this works, just so everybody understands, we have our own building department, then we have an engineering firm that is responsible for making sure they're doing what's in the plan correctly.
Right.
Okay? That's where there seems to be some misguidance on
But
what
nobody
they're-
ever inspected our property. You see there's cracks in our
Yeah,
foundation.
that wasn't part of the plan that was sent to us.
Shouldn't that be, since they're...
I can't speak to what boards it went to and how they handled it at those boards. I don't know what was handled at those boards. I don't sit on.
Shouldn't this be more of an emergency because...
I will
the way it's
speak,
left-
yes, I'm gonna speak to Sal Poli, our building,
Okay.
and I recommend, by the way, you guys all send an email to him also, or give him a call.
I think we have.
Okay.
Yes.
And I will definitely call him tomorrow, maybe even tonight, and say, look, we had a group of residents here concerned about what's going on here, we need to straighten out, and he's gonna tell me it's stopped, but they're concerned about the structures of the buildings that are, as they're sitting now. and that might mean we have to hire an engineer.
I will also talk.
Go, sure, go.
about typically, when they should take pre-construction pictures,
No.
the contractor should. For
Nobody ever
safety,
contacted us.
Safeguard. So I'll talk to Sal with regard to this, with regard to your concern and the effects of the jackhammering that you had mentioned.
Yeah. And I will say, it all started, and I don't know which residents contacted me personally, I know some did. It was those residents that contacted me that made me follow up with the building department to say, hey, Sal, something's going on over there. I took a drive over, and there's like a waterfall coming off the back of the mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
That's what we have to do.
right, so that's what caught my eye. I'll
Yeah,
be
and also
honest.
some fencing, but it's a cliff now, like if
I know.
there's a child there, they could fall off.
No, I get it. So I'm on your side on this, believe me.
Yeah, well, thank you, appreciate it.
Now, will you get back to us, or?
Sal will be the one who'll be corresponding back and forth with you because he's the building department, but you can always call my office and have any questions, concerns, you can't get hold of somebody, give me a call, I'll reach out to whoever I need to speak
And
to.
our attorney also sent a letter to you as well. They sent it to High Construction, they copied the mayor, correct?
I don't remember getting a letter from the attorney.
It's in the attachment.
Okay, I'll have to take a look for that one.
Okay, are we good with that?
We good with everything here?
I have two other
Sure,
Okay.
short items. We recently had our roads repaved. It was 20 years and it was time. That's our responsibility because of the type of community it is. But Hemlock Road, which comes up and abuts Ridge Drive, has become, it's only a short piece of property, of real estate, I should say. And it's getting all broken up, which is only gonna get worse towards the winter. Is there any way we can have it?
I gotta ask my administrator, do you know where Hemlock is? I thought it was on our list, actually.
By the gas station.
No, I know where the street is. I'm just saying we have a list of how we address the fibers.
Huge potholes.
Yeah, potholes we can address.
Hemlock, you had an intersecting street. What was the name of the intersecting street? Hemlock?
And Ridge.
Oh, okay.
It's where Hemlock meets Ridge Drive.
Okay.
It's maybe, I don't know, 80 feet.
Well, I will talk about the potholes.
Yes. So the potholes we can take care of, our DPW will take care of the potholes temporarily, but really, it's about repaving that road, but we'll have to talk to our engineers to see where that falls on our list. I don't know where it sits.
The last topic we have is, we've been inundated with lanternflies, and we understand the state granted the town some money, I
Yep.
should say the borough. Is there any way we can get some help in trying to abate this?
On private property, unfortunately, we cannot. It can only be on town property or county property that we can spray. So unfortunately, on your own property, you'd have to take care of it yourself. Now, if you have any properties that we own close to it, we'll talk to our shade tree and see if we can get somebody to go up there, but private property, we can't go on.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, hand it back. No, well, he was coming up first, but I'll let you go next.
Lou Bellini, 214 Ridge Drive, Upton Lakes. Since the stop work order's been put in there, it's great that it stopped, but is there any provision for shoring? Because this thing probably is gonna need shoring. Just stopping it isn't gonna...
No, the engineers are now the next step will be the engineers will go look at it and determine, we can't determine it, the engineers will determine what has to be done, if anything,
Right.
to fix it. Separate from that, they will have to go back to the boards, the planning boards, and identify what they did, and then the boards could probably say, but that's not on the plan that you showed us. And then there'll be a discussion.
Yeah, because a couple more rainfalls like we've just gotten, it won't matter who's doing what.
I'm gonna reach out to Sal probably tonight and see if I can get the engineers over there tomorrow.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. You want to come up?
Yeah. Milagina Calderon, 206 Ridge. I know it's a private road, however, the taxes are, you include us with high taxes up there, we should be able to get something. Because you're basically charging us taxes like the rest of Pompton Lakes. You do their roads, we're on a private road, but we should get a little reduction, something, because you're not doing our roads.
Yeah, but it doesn't work, unfortunately.
I know, it doesn't work like that, but you're killing
We
us.
can't go on private property to do anything.
I know,
So-
but you shouldn't charge us the taxes, the same
Well,
taxes.
that's through
Your rate,
assessment.
3 point whatever.
Right. This group does not charge, we hire a company that comes in and does an
I
assessment.
know, I
So-
know. Well, I'm just putting it
I
out
understand.
there. If you can do something.
I'm not
but
happy
you
with my
don't have
taxes, and I live in the same town, so.
something. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to address?
Alan Heimel, 284 Woolley Road, West Milford, New Jersey. I've been trying to get in touch with the tax assessor to figure out what is protocol if you want to try to reduce your taxes and where you have to get your comps from.
So that's, do you know the answer to that?
Well, I mean, the tax assessor won't give you legal advice.
No, but do the comps come from Pompton Lakes, or do I go out of town? Do I go out of state? Do I go out of county? Where do I get my comps from?
It comes down to a preponderance of the evidence. You're supposed to be using the best quality evidence. So you start within your town, and if you have an argument that falls within accepted arguments as to why you're broadening the scope of what you're relying on, then under certain circumstances, that could have a credible impact.
So I could go out of county.
I'm not telling you.
He's
that
not your
you can or
attorney,
can't.
but gotta-
No, I could say.
All right, well, the reason I'm asking, we'll go back to my property on Hamburg Turnpike. I read the appraisal that I received. The comps are from Hunterdon County, Warren County, and Sussex County. I have one here on Blackbrook Road, Bethlehem Township, Hunterdon County, September 8th, 2017 is one of the comps for $2,498. West Mountain Road, Sparta, March 29th, 2018, for $1,435. Shady Road, West Milford, February 16th, 2018, $1,461. East Shore Drive, Upper Greenwood Lake, West Milford, 12/31/2021, $5,224. 47 Hope Crossing Road, White Township, Warren County, 6/20/2022, $6,260. That's all per acre. You see that, does anybody see what's going on here? As we get closer to it, the prices are going up.
Yeah, but that,
And my appraisal on my property, I think, is
that's
way
another thing
too
we're
low.
not negotiating.
Way too low. I got the same appraisal from the town in 2021. It's almost the exact same appraisal.
Mr. Heimel, we're not going to engage in negotiations in a public forum.
I'm not negotiating, I'm asking a
Well,
question. I want
well,
to know
but I'm
where the
gonna-
comps are coming from
but
and
I'm
why
going
they're
to
from
instruct-
2017.
I'm going to instruct the governing body, my client, as well as the mayor, not to engage in interaction of this nature due to the fact that we were in negotiations. If we continue to be in negotiations,
Yeah, we could be in negotiations, absolutely, but when I make an offer and I talk to somebody, I don't expect 57 days to come back with a counteroffer on what we proposed. I have the emails, I have the dates, it was 57 days, so I had time to rethink what I wanted to do and see the
But
appraisal.
Mr. Heimel, what I think he's telling you is we're not going to negotiate here.
Okay.
So if you want to negotiate, you can in good faith with our attorney who would be doing the negotiation, or you don't have to do that. And you can dictate.
No, I
your own-
do.
Oh, so
But
then,
I will-
that would
okay.
be in a private matter outside
Okay,
of this room.
so do I send another email to somebody and find out where we're at and what we do? Is that what
Mr.
my
Heimel,
next?
I've communicated with you since July 3rd without a response. 2 emails I had sent to you. I'd be
Because
happy.
from March 8th to May 11th, I never got a response from you.
Oh, okay. There were things that were being done. There was an appraisal. It wasn't immediately reacted to, but at the same token, I did reach out to you on July 3rd. And since then, without a response, I would suggest that we engage in this conversation offline. We shouldn't
Okay.
be doing this in the public forum. Be happy to continue talking to you.
Yeah, That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's been a long time. It's been way too long. I'd like to get it resolved.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to bring up one other thing. Might be off kilter, might be whatever.
But you
It
only
has
get 5
nothing to do with that.
I know, but you only get 5 minutes. So I can't. if
So
I
my
give-
5 minutes is up? I don't think I've been up there 5
You've
minutes.
been up there more than 5 minutes, trust me.
Then I can come back at the second.
Is that
call,
true?
right? Yep, okay.
Anyone else from the public like to address? You step up.
Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Avenue. I'm sorry to see and concerned about Resolution 23-165.
Nothing to be concerned about. She did a great job for us, but she found a better opportunities.
Questions I have is, do we have a personnel committee?
We do.
And who's the chairperson of that personnel committee?
I think it's Councilwoman Kent?
No,
All right,
Bennett.
Bennett.
Councilman Bennett.
Was this information shared with the council before decisions were made?
What decisions?
That the officer, borough administrator would be leaving her position?
No.
Was the council notified?
That would be up to the parties involved.
Well, was the council notified that
Notified
this was possible?
through a letter of
No.
resignation, yes.
No?
No.
Wait, I'm going to caution the governing body. We can't, excuse my interruption. But, you know,
Your job.
officially, I have to, as part of my job. Under the Open Public Meetings Act, we are constrained not to discuss the position in question. This is a personnel matter, it's confidential. It's a matter where the individual was not provided the appropriate notice, and the individual wasn't given an advanced opportunity to consent to public discussion. We can't certainly stop anyone from the public bringing an issue up or speaking to an issue, but I'm instructing my client not to respond to questions and not to partake in any sort of dialogue. And I would ask that members of the public understand that to the extent that there is not dialogue that's being engaged in, they understand it's because they're following my legal advice. And I'm not sure if there's going to be any type of accusations or anything that's being made by anyone on this issue, but the silence of the governing body, which I hope that they heed my advice, should not be taken and interpreted as a concession, as an admission, or as an aversion to anything that's being said here tonight. So, you know, with that understanding, I instruct my client again not to engage in any dialogue. It would, in my opinion, be a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, but certainly the public is free to speak.
You heard what he had to say.
So I can ask any question I want
Within your 5 minutes.
pertaining to that, but I'm not going to respond.
Correct.
Okay, well, just sad to see, on that resolution was the resignation of our borough administrator, correct?
Yes,
That's resolution number 9.
yes.
You can answer that question, correct? I'm sad to see you go. Been an excellent administrator, in my opinion, for dealing with the Shade Tree Commission, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. It really was a pleasure to serve this town, you know, and serve under Mayor Sauer and the Borough Council. It's really been an honor to serve the residents in this room. You know, I just made a professional decision, and that's it. And it's sad, you know, it's a bittersweet thing. It's difficult in my position because I make quick connections with people, and it's going to be difficult. And you're one of the people that we had quite a bit of conversation.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Going back and forth, and I will miss sitting in this chair, absolutely.
And I want to thank you for all you did for the town and the Shade Tree Commission.
Thank you.
And I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
So moved.
Councilman Deline? Second. Councilman Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, approval of minutes, motion to approve the following minutes, special meeting minutes, July 19th, regular meeting minutes, July 19th.
So moved.
Councilman Deline? Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Hi, just 1 second. Did you just approve the consent agenda?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
For July 19th.
No, I was not here. Yeah, we'll go down here.
You got it.
Oh, hold on, we'll take it. All right. If anybody would like to leave, please just, you gotta leave quietly, that's all I ask, because it's taped. And then we're working with you guys, don't hurt them.
Okay.
So, Liz, Bobby is abstained. He made the motion, but he can't. So I need a second, please.
Second.
Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay. Bills and...
Councilman Cruz is abstaining? Okay.
Yes. Bills and claims. Motion to approve the following bills as listed below.
So moved.
Councilman Blind? Second. Councilman Brennan, all in favor? Aye. Against? Consent agenda, you had a concern?
Yes, I just want to say on resolution 23-164, the lump sum amount should be $35,900. The engineer came back to me today and had reduced the cost of the service based on previous conversations we had and what was required to be done this year and bifurcating this year from next year.
Okay.
So that should reflect $35,900, not $43,900.
Okay. Okay, does anybody need any resolutions removed?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead, Liz.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Compton Lakes have reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Compton Lakes does not desire to move resolutions for individual action from that agenda. Now therefore be resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. Resolution 23-156 through 23-165.
Motion to approve the resolutions. So moved. Councilman
Second.
Blind?
Second.
Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, second readings?
Ordinance 2326. Am I reading it?
So, actually, I'm going to make a motion to remove this ordinance from second reading. I did not receive any feedback on what Mark had sent everyone. My opinion is we have to take a fresh look. If we were to look at his ordinance that he's suggesting, I think that constitutes a substantial change to what's being proposed. We'd have to start over in the way. So at this point, I'm making a motion to hold the ordinance in general.
All right, that's a motion, can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Council President Polidori, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, that made that nice and easy. Okay, on to my report. Let's see. We had a CRS meeting that was well attended by a lot of our boards, and I thank Liz and Kathy for putting that together. The CRS rating that we get is very important to all our residents, and we have to have a yearly meeting with all the parties involved, and it was nice to see all the parties show up and do what we had to. There's going to be an audit, is that correct, Liz?
Yes.
We'll be doing an audit, and there
A
might be
full
some...
audit.
Full audit, and there might be some concerns or questions to keep our status at a 25% discount. Just remember, when you get that discount, sometimes you have to ask your insurance agent to get the CRS discount. They don't automatically, in all insurance companies, offer it to you. So make sure you ask for that. It is very important. I attended the senior picnic, had a great time, as usual. I got to thank Karen Murphy and all the people and all the volunteers that came out. I love talking to the seniors. They come in, they have a lot of great information with the one-man band and the food, and always a nice time. It's inside, it's air-conditioned, it's just a relaxing time, so I thank everyone for that. I attended the ribbon cutting at Miss Korea over here in town. They've been in town for a little bit, but they had a reopening. Great food there, and always nice to have new businesses coming into town. I had a meeting with our new Senator, Joe Panaccio. We sat down and had a little talk about the future here in Pompton and how he can help us, and we brought up some concerns, and one of them was the deer. I did bring it up to him. He is from Morris County, and he said, look, Mayor, we have the same issues up by us, and it's a very difficult proposition. He said, but he would push at the state level to see if there's something they could start doing, which is what I've been saying from day one. The county and the state need to be involved in this program to take care of what the problem is in the deer. We all agree the deer here are a problem, and no one's saying they're not, but every town has them, and they have to do a comprehensive program statewide, in my opinion, or at least countywide, to kind of address that. And if they were to figure out something, I think every town would jump on board with it. So hopefully he will bring that message. It's always good talking to our local representatives to get our word out there. You know, we've always had a good relationship with our local groups, and that's not going to change, even though our members have changed in the last year. Like I mentioned before, speaking of having a good connection time with Bill Pasquale, Congressman Bill Pasquale, we got a $500,000 grant for the library, which is huge, well deserved and well needed. And you know, he did fight for us in Washington for that We're going to use that money to redo the library, hopefully, windows, roofs, everything. So, we have a historic building there. It's a beautiful building, and we want to keep it kept looking good. We did all these additions on it just recently. This can only help. So that money should be coming in the next 6 months or so, and then we'll start getting some ideas of what we want to do there. I performed in the last month 5 weddings. It's always fun to do weddings. One wedding, they asked me to wear a top hat, which I reluctantly said yes to and wore the top hat. But that's what they were looking for, so I wore the top hat. But I always enjoy doing all the weddings. Attended the open space meeting. There was a lot of communication back and forth about how we'll use some funding. There is some talk for the council to understand that we're looking at putting some money towards Hirschfield Park improvements. I know that our administrator had asked for us to look at that. The Open Space Committee would like to see more information from the borough on it. It doesn't really work that way. We don't have a lot of that information they're looking at. But I think at the end of the day, if we can't figure a way to spend some of that money, we should start talking about trying to get some money towards the Hirschfield Park project, because it's a huge project. It affects everybody in town. Everybody uses that park in some fashion, and these costs are just going up daily, and that's what's causing us some issues. But we're going to try to get some more information from the open space so they can make some more determinations on that. And that is my report. Council President Palladori.
First, I would like to extend my condolences to a few families that we have here in town. Councilman Cruz, I'm sorry for your loss, as well as a member of our first aid squad and police department, the family of Sharon Sonny, and most recently, the family of Tony Massaro on their loss. My heart goes out to all of those families. I attended the Rotary Golf Outing. I thank Rotary for all they do in our community. I am working with Sue Barone as the vice president. She is our incoming president this year, so I'm excited about all of the fundraising that we'll be doing for our club and our town. I also attended the VFW fundraiser. Thank you to them for all they do for the community. It was a successful day. They had a really great crowd at their event. Same day, we also attended the grand reopening of the Miss Korea restaurant. I also attended at the new Bell Works facility down south. I was invited by a mayor of another town to attend it was an NJ film mixer, so it was a lot of folks from the production industry that look for areas in New Jersey to bring filming to, along with members of local government around New Jersey. So in light of the recently passed ordinance that we took care of earlier this year, it was good to be there because I actually made a lot of great contacts and some folks that actually are in site selection. So hoping to reconnect with them and have a better discussion as to what it is they're looking for in the future. National Night Out was a tremendous success. Thank you to everyone involved with that. Also been speaking with Shade Tree and Rotary for a site selection for the Salem Oak that our Shade Tree Commissioner has taken such good care of for, it's been about a year now? Over a year. So I think we've come to a possible agreement that the Rotary Park area may be the best home for this tree because it's outgrowing its adopted backyard. So I'm excited about seeing that get put in. I don't know if you remember, there was a historic tree that was taken down and every municipality was invited to go down to one of the NJ Forestry offices and pick up a sapling so that they could plant a piece of that tree in their town. We did, and Randy's been growing it for quite some time. I also attended the open space meeting. It's been quite a few years now that the Open Space Committee has been in discussions about their willingness to fund a relatively large portion, in fact, of Hirschfield Park. So they are at this point just asking for basic information on what some of the equipment looks like and what some of the projected costs are. So it should be relatively easy to get that information. Additionally, there were 2 other meetings that took place that I have some questions about. I'm asking about the status of the Civic Center. There was a meeting that took place earlier with Meridia, and I ask because as council president and a member of personnel, it seems that there have been a lot of meetings take place that I am absolutely not aware of. And there was, in fact, a member of the public attended this meeting through, which I guess would be redevelopment, but yet the paid employee on redevelopment was not aware of it. So can you, when I'm done, someone please bring me up to speed on what's going on with the Civic Center. And additionally, there was a meeting with the police officers and the union reps that the mayor had missed. And Councilwoman Kent was called in 10 minutes before the meeting started and had to rush in so that someone would be there to attend it. As a member of personnel and the council president, I also feel that I should have been informed for that meeting as well. I'm not sure what happened there or why you at the last minute couldn't attend. But that's it. So if you could just let me know what's going on with the Civic Center, I would appreciate it.
Civic Center, Meridian called a meeting, well, actually, I guess we called the meeting, we called the meeting, to discuss, I guess Dan has suggested that that building is no longer in rehab shape, and we're feeling what we need a new building there. We wanted them to get us a price on putting in a new building, and that's all we're waiting on is a price right now to see if they're willing to do it. It wasn't in the actual redevelopment plan, but they are negotiating with us to see if that's something they can do. We haven't heard any numbers back, right? We haven't heard anything
Well,
back?
Mayor and Paul, let me please give some counsel. There is going to be a negotiation that takes place.
Oh, that's right.
That we are anticipating will manifest itself in a revised redevelopment agreement, or I should say, an amendment or an addendum to the redevelopment agreement. And to that extent, you shouldn't be revealing information particularly related to that. I was at that meeting, and I'm trying to think how I could carefully enlighten everyone so that they have some degree of understanding without it impacting or divulging information that could be sensitive to negotiations. I think that to the extent that I think it's, I think that we probably could reveal that there are certain issues that exist with respect to the building. And the original redevelopment agreement, which is a matter of public record, had the redeveloper doing some repairs to the building. Given the state of the building, and without going into detail as to what particular conditions of that building may be attributable to the acts of a third party or just natural aging of the building, we are now exploring alternatives that would ultimately, hopefully, benefit the borough. And that's what we're sitting down and working towards. But and I don't think that it makes, I think it's counterproductive to divulge what the additional conditions may be, what they might be attributable to.
I have a
think-
question about this. You had a member of the public attend this meeting, and yet this information is not subject to public knowledge. There is an individual that attended that meeting that is a unelected volunteer who was privy to what you are now telling all the rest of us is private information.
That's true. And that individual had some information to contribute towards the factors that were being considered.
It is not a member of the governing body, and it is an unpaid volunteer that does not even sit on redevelopment.
I understand that. I agree with you.
I'm okay with that explanation. I just have some concerns as council president, as a member of finance,
And-
as a member of personnel, that I'm not being looped in on anything that is going on anymore. I don't know if it's a personal issue that you have with me, but as voting members of this community that do elect me to sit up here, you should have some concerns with that.
I would think it might be a personal issue because of all these posts that I'm seeing against me. So the personal issue would be you.
Has anything ever been said about you that is untrue?
Has anything been said about you that's untrue?
I don't think that's what the question was. The question was, I would like to be looped in on information. I'm not
You're
sure
looped
where you're
on-
going. This is
you would-
gaslighting. I'm asking for information.
And I'm telling you right now, I will put you on committees that you need to be on. Right now, the second
You
committee...
decide my role.
The second committee that you're talking about, I was told 2 days before about the meeting, I said, I have a doctor appointment, I will try to make it. Called and said I couldn't make it. I did not pick the person who went in.
I would like to be informed of matters that involve personnel and things that, in
You
a
are not
normal
the- you are not
situation,
the
a
chair of
council
personnel.
president. I'm a member, and neither
You're a
is
member.
Councilwoman Ken.
Well, I didn't say she was.
She attended the meeting.
I did not ask her to attend the meeting.
Okay, I think I made my point.
Yeah, and I think I made my point. I did not ask her to attend the meeting.
Thank you. That
Thank
is
you.
my report.
Thank you for your report. Councilman Cruz,
Thank you, Mayor.
you want to read? You got some motions first.
Yeah, I got some motions, but just before I begin, I just want to say thank you to Mayor and Council, Mark, and friends of ours in Pompton Lakes at the hearing of the passing of my father for all the kind words as we grieve, obviously, losing my father. So thank you very much. It's once again, it just reaffirms a special place that Pompton Lakes is just from the number of messages and cards we received. So thank you. I attended the Board of Education meeting last night, whereby we now have a high school principal. So the high school principal, and I hope I do not mispronounce his name, we have Scott Wenzenowski, and he's coming to us from Wayne. He was the assistant principal there for about 7 years. He'll be starting September 1st. I had a chance to meet him last night. Great guy. Very personable. As a matter of fact, I think most of the residents that attended the Board of Ed meeting last night just stayed behind to talk to him. So he was the star of the show last night. On a sad note, Nancy Swartz has resigned as a Board of Education trustee. For those of you who know Nancy, she's been heavily involved in this town, the community, all the athletic programs, and I believe she served probably about 14 years, 15 years on the Board of Education. Just to highlight some of the great things she did during her time, she was a certified Board of Education trustee. That's something you only receive through national school boards, so you do have to attend classes and receive credits for that. She was president, vice president, national school boards liaison, and I could go on and on. She's done amazing work. So I'd like to wish her the best of luck. She will be spending time and moving closer to her son, to be near her grandson, and I'm pretty sure that's going to keep her busy.
Granddaughter.
Granddaughter, I'm sorry, granddaughter Nancy, hopefully you won't watch this. But anyway, wish her the best of luck. The last item that I have from my report, we have a Dine to Donate at Tree Tavern. This is for the Pompton Lakes High School Field Hockey Program. This is going to occur August 23rd from 4 to 9. This is takeout, dine inside, dine outside. Make sure to mention PLFH. You'll get 10% of sales will be donated to the Field Hockey Program. And moving on to the motions that I have here. First one is motion to approve the request to waive borough application fees for the Pompton Lakes Riverdale First Aid Squad 50/50 raffle to be held on September 3rd, 2023, with a rain date of September 4, 2023.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Deline, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Next motion is motion to approve the request to waive borough application fees for the Pompton Lakes Volunteer Fire Department 50/50 raffle to be held on September 9th, 2023.
Second.
Is a second?
Yep.
Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Okay, last one here, motion to approve the request to waive borough application fees for the Lakedale Girl Scouts for the use of Hirschfield Park on September 15, 2023, and October 29th, 2023.
Can I have a second?
Second?
Who's that? Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, and actually you reminded me of some dates that we should announce. September 3rd, of course, we have Pompton Day, rain date September 4th. You know, follow the web if you're looking for more information. I think we're still looking for some vendors, and so if you're interested. September 9th, big day, we have our new fire truck, ladder truck coming in. It's going to be our wet down at 5 p.m. at the firehouse between 5 and 10. Always a great event. They don't come around too often, so if you're looking for something to do on September 9th, come down and enjoy yourself. And we do have our September 11th remembrance ceremony here at 6:30. We always will never forget, so we'll always have our ceremony here at 6:30 on 9/11. And with that is Councilman Deline.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off by giving my condolences to Councilman Cruz for the passing of his father, and to Sharon Sonny for the loss of her mother. I did want to welcome and congratulate Celeste Torres, who just joined our Pompton Lakes Police Department. One thing that actually stood out was, I don't know if a couple of people noticed, but there was actually a couple officers from Halden Police that came in to see her oath of office. So when you have somebody walking on the way out, and you still think enough of them to show up for their swing in somewhere else, that says a lot about that individual. So I think she's going to be an excellent contribution to our police force. To that end, A couple weeks ago, I attended National Night Out, and I know Sharon Sonny did a lot of the heavy lifting. The organization on the board of directors for Avenues in Motion, she was able to set us up and make sure that this transportation management agency was able to attend. It's on behind Pompton Day. It's by far my favorite community event. Just our police are out there, our fire department, our CERT, our women's club. Everybody, it's a true community event. Everybody has a great time. It's amazing. Liz, I don't know how many pizzas that we end up serving, so Pompton Lakes can eat. It sounds like we're continually getting them, but it was an awesome night, and again, I love to see that happen in our community for sure. There is no Library Board of Trustees meeting on Monday, August 21st. However, coming actually tomorrow between 8 and 10 p.m. on the library lawn, the Friends of the Library is hosting a free showing of the movie Grease. There's actually a fundraiser for the Pompton Lakes Library. For $20, you can purchase an original unfolded 27 by 40 poster from 1978. Apparently these originals are selling for up to $200 used on eBay. You can purchase this as a gift, an investment, or frame it in your house or your home theater room. I do not have a home theater room. I don't know. If you do have one, you can put it there, I guess. And again, all proceeds do go to the Pompton Lakes Library. So great movie on the lawn and an opportunity to buy a really cool piece of memorabilia that benefits the Pompton Lakes Library. Finally, actually pretty much a little bit before redevelopment, there is a redevelopment meeting tomorrow night. Our normal meeting time is at 7:30. Tomorrow it begins at 6:30 p.m. There are two items on the agenda. One is a conceptual presentation by Pompton Plaza Associates. That's 198 to 222 Wanacue Avenue. Again, this is conceptual. They're just basically presenting in front of the redevelopment agency. Hey, this is kind of what our vision is for these pieces of property. Just getting some informal feedback. There's not an application. There's nothing for the agency to take action on. It's just an initial view of what they're originally proposing or initially thinking. And then there is a formal presentation by 60 Wanacue Ave Realty. That is basically the gas station across from Pompton Plaza. So that at that point the applicants will be looking for some kind of approvals by the board, by the redevelopment agency. So again, those two will be taken. I don't know if we'll finish 60 Wanacue Avenue, but at the very least the intent is to start that hearing or that discussion. And again, that starts at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. It's here in the council chambers. And then finally, I want to wish the best of luck to Paul Conzarelli. You've been here for a little bit over a year. I certainly do not regret recommending your hire. I think you've done a phenomenal job in the past year. You've added a lot of professionalism to the position, to Pompton Lakes. We're not always an easy town for a lot of things, but it's, people move on. I mean, I totally get it. I've been in the same position, so I wish the best of luck to you and good luck in Rockaway Township. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Councilwoman Kent.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I want to also welcome our new female officer, Celeste Torres. I think she's going to be a wonderful selection, and she's going to do a great job, so I was very happy to vote on her tonight. I did attend the personnel meeting with the police, and we discussed the union contract. It was the very first. It was the first meeting that we had. I'm always bragging that I'm retired and I have time, so Paula reached out to me just to answer your question, because she says, Maria, we say you're retired, you can come on a dime's notice, which is what, and I was very happy to do that, so that it wasn't, you didn't have to do that alone, so I'm fine with that.
Because they, the negotiation would stop.
Yeah, and
with another council person, if somebody from the council was not.
Yeah, and we don't want to hold things up, and if things happen, I understand that, and it's just the way it happens, so that was fine. That's no problem. I also attended the Elks Car Show, and I gave with Council and Venon, and we probably gave out 100 trophies to the most beautiful cars in North and South Jersey. And that was a lovely, lovely day, and the Elks did a great job with that, so a lot of people came. It was a very good show. I also attended the Finance Committee. People don't realize, but we have to sign off on every bill that we generate, and that takes a lot of time. So that's a monthly thing. I also attended the ribbon cutting for Miss Korea, and very good food. Very good. Try that. That's a great restaurant. So try that. I also attended our bid meeting, our bid and meeting we discussed litter. So I think the bid, Ms. Byrne was there, we're going to try to do a major litter program for uptown and downtown. With that, we're going to be working with the Environmental Protection Committee. They're going to be doing a litter program and education program and awareness. So we're looking really, the EPC members are looking really forward to working with the bid on that. So that's going to happen. The bid is going to come and ask to meet with you, Mayor, about the problem with putting the garbage in the garbage cans. We've had a lot of complaints from the residents, and we still don't have a resolution on that. So they're going to ask you to come with that. We'll be there. I also served the seniors at the senior picnic. There was about 100 attendees. That is so much fun. And because I'm a senior now, I ate every sandwich I could get my hands on and ice cream, so I ate everything. And I didn't feel guilty one bit. But it was a lot of fun, and they had a good time. And Mayor, you helped eat some too, right? So.
Oh, I'm a senior and I can eat, so those two things work.
It was fun, yeah. The DPW, I did not get a report from Dan today, but I know they're working very hard to make the Lakeside Avenue area and the Lakeside Park very nice for the Pompton Day folks. So they are working on that. They are also going to install, I'm very happy to say, the PAL benches that were donated by the PAL folks, and I think we're going to have a nice photo shoot with that, and that was on behalf of Rich Fleischer and Lloyd Kent. Donated that money when they shut down the PAL program. That will also include a basketball hoop and pole at Pacifico Gallo Park. And the benches will be put in Hirschfield Park. I attended the EPC. We're going to be doing litter programs, as I said. And we have a group that we also review the lake restoration reports, because the council pays to treat Twin Lakes and Pompton Lake to get rid of all the filamentous algae and the lily pads and things, so the water is now usable, where before we had so much weeds in the lake, boaters couldn't, it would get, into their propellers, and the boats would get stuck. So we're very happy that we have a new company on, and he's doing a really good job, and I threatened him, I said, you better have that lake perfect for Pompton Day, so he's promised me. He's out there. They did treat, they treated Pompton. They don't treat every time, but so they did not treat Twin, but they do treat the Pompton. The report is available. We can make it available. All you have to do is send the office and Oprah. We can get that report to you. And that would be a water quality report. I did attend the open space meeting. I can't wait to rip out that old building with the bathrooms and put the new unit in, because it's absolutely way overdue. So looking forward to doing that, and looking forward to fixing that walkway. As far as the guardrails and the fence on Lakeside Avenue, I would like to put that on the high priority, because that fence along Lakeside is falling down. It's a danger, and I don't think it's safe. So I contacted a company that puts in guardrails. That is our road. That's not
So
county.
part of it, not all the end, but
No, just that section where we own, where the fence is. That's no longer private. So we have to take that on soon. I attended the Recreation Committee meeting, and we talked about summer camp. There may be an increase in fees next year, and but I want to thank all of the directors, Director Murphy and Allison and Crystal. They were the teachers there. They ran the whole camp. They did a great job. We had 170 campers, and it was a great program, and I want to thank them for that. I also want to thank the Shade Tree Commission. I apologize, I had a personal issue last Monday night, couldn't attend, but you did a beautiful job at the National Night Out, which I also attended, and I did that on the behalf of I was not as a council person, but I was on the women's club, so I did sit with the women at that booth, and that is a lot of fun. And we have a great women's club, and very proud of them. But the Shade Tree Commission had baby trees that we had left over from a previous activity that Council President Polidori and Randy Kinton had, where we had these little baby trees. Well, we had about 35 left over, and I threw them in a bucket of water, and I don't believe in wasting anything. And these trees actually took off. So now we have 35 more shade trees from just people coming in and taking them. And then you had a beautiful plant that was, I guess, a raffle. And that was one that was given away too. So it was wonderful. And then you had a little like a box where you had a window, and people took their pictures there. So you did a really good job, Randy, and the commission did a great job. Thank you. Paula, I almost voted no on resolution, whatever resolution that was, 23-165. You really should have said no, but I understand it's a very nice promotion for you, and I'm going to miss you terribly, but you did a great job for Pompton Lakes in the time that you were here. It was awesome, and I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Bobby, my deepest sympathy to you and your family, on your dad. Known you for a long time. I know he suffered a long time, and I'm sorry. Sorry about that. And Sony also as well lost her mother. So my deepest sympathies. And that was my short report. Thank you.
Well, I didn't want to hear a long one.
Oh my God.
But I will say that the river, the water in both lakes actually looks very good. Even in Twin Lake, it's not really overgrowing, so it is working over there too.
It's working very well.
It does make the whole lake look differently when we do that.
And it gives a town a whole different perspective
I
when
agree
you
with
look
that
out.
100%. Councilman Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate our newest officer, Celeste Torres. Congratulations and welcome. I look forward to seeing you around town. Thank you to the Pompton Lakes Police Department and all involved for National Night Out. It was very well attended. I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you to all who attended the Pompton Lakes High School Marching Band Car Wash last Saturday. The venues were all double booked. We had trails maintenance going on at the same time, which we had about half a dozen folks show up for. But unfortunately, due to all of the rain, some of the areas could not be maintained that day. And that's my report, Mayor.
Wow, quick one. Any report?
No report, Mayor.
Before we get to our administrator's report, look, Paula worked for us for a little bit over a year. We had a lot of changes in that year, and they're all good changes. Paul and I were on the phone probably daily, most of the time, sometimes more. She puts her heart and soul into the job that she's doing, I will tell you that. She doesn't wait a minute to get on top of something. If I call her and ask her to do something, the next day she was getting back to me. It is a loss for her. So, we brought her in because we thought she was the best of what we were interviewing. So we are going to miss you, but good luck in the future. At the end of the day, you helped us greatly in the short time you were here, so I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, now you can give your report.
We have a report. So I first would like to start with our 2023 capital projects and the status of those. The Hershey Park improvements phase 1 is replacement of the bathroom/storage building. The initial engineering estimate was about $30,000 shy of the revised one, which I got probably in April of '23. So the budgeted dollars for that reflect the increased estimate. However, in speaking with the engineer that has been awarded the job, if we are looking for a second-story storage, we're looking at some higher numbers here. So I would like to respectfully request that the Open Space Committee think about allocating additional funds for that. With respect to the building, the plans originally called for a prefabricated structure with a second-story storage. And so the engineer has to spec that out within the bid spec. there is a sample link that he did provide to the borough that Dan actually asked Dan to take a look at it. Our DPW superintendent, he looked at the links and we looked at different things, and one of the buildings looked really nice. I don't know how much money it is. I mean, I just looked at it, nice stone facade on the bottom, you know, real natural, because it's such a natural site, with the wooded area and everything. I think that would look really nice. I don't know how much money that would be, and also to include, you know, the second storage and area. I think there's ping pong tables in there, or activities. So, these are all in the plans now, and I asked the engineer to please get these specifications going so that they could be reviewed by the borough. The specification would indicate the type of structure that is desired and what we're looking for. However, you know, there is going to be some guidance that will be needed in terms of, like the guidance I provided, stone facade on the bottom, or stone, you know, I'm thinking of facade. I mean, real stones could be a lot of money. Facade, it's just a very nice structure that I think would fit nicely in that space. So that project probably could use a little more money. I always feel like if we're going to do a project, let's do it right the first time. And if we want to do added storage, which we know that Recreation already has 2 bins or storage pods that they use, maybe we can start to consolidate some of that and put that in this building for them. So I just would like you to think about that, allocating a little bit some money for open space for that project. Lincoln Ave Phase 2 road resurfacing, that is a DOT grant, and that's been completed this year. I reviewed the bid specs for that. They were sent over to the DOT for review. The DOT has 30 days to review. However, their turnaround might be a little quicker. You know, that project was awarded to another engineering firm. So I'm dealing directly with Mike. Mike is aware of what is going on with my position and the timeline that is required for this borough. So I'm hoping to get that back before I leave so I can put out the bid notice and get that project moving forward. This project is slated to be completed this year. Howard Maple Street, Babbitt Road resurfacing, the engineer is currently working on the specs. That's slated to be done this year as well. Hirschfield Street and Ackerman Place. That was a 2023 CDBG grant. The borough received $80,000 for that project. So how the CDBG grant year works is from January to December. And the thing is that typically you put in your applications, they're reviewed by the commissioners, they're sent to the state, you know, HUD, really, it's federal money, sent to HUD, they review it, they send back to the county. So now the county's in the process of writing up agreements. However, you can't spend dollars until next year. But Hirschfield and Ackerman, you know, there's no reason why the bid spec can't be written and get that going. And most likely, we'll probably get a better price anyway, because when you bid in the beginning of the year, a lot of people don't have bid specs already, and a lot of contractors are hungry. So, you know, we might get a better price. And what the engineer spoke to was Hirschfield Street in particular. There is so much subsurface damage. He really wants to dig deeper than your typical milling and paving. He wants to go down 6 inches. And we have the money with what's been bonded and with CDBG to really fix that road. It's a small road, but it's got it needs a lot of care.
So just so everybody understands on the board, what we're talking about, as soon as we can next year. It should have been done this year, but the way that calendar year worked, it was different. So it's going to be pushed into next year at some point.
Next up, what's going to happen too is the borough entered into shared services agreements with the county. The county is replacing the walk bridges of Hirschfield Park, and I forget the other location.
West Lennox.
West Lennox. Our responsibility was for the DuPont Place Culvert Bridge. Our responsibility was engineering for that. So that is already budgeted for. I'm going to be sending out that RFP, And hopefully, design and everything that is another project that will most definitely occur next year. It has to.
We hope.
My understanding is that this bridge is not, it needs attention. So that's also in the works and will happen. As far as the Dawes Highway Bridge, Mr. Stupian, who is the foremost expert of hydrological studies in the area, he worked for the DEP, he has his own company. He has agreed for a fee of $3,000 to review all of the drawings from the county, because there has been a lot of discussion about ensuring that that culvert is opened up to allow stormwaters to run through the bridge rather than around the bridge and flood properties to the sides. I have to say the county engineer has been excellent in working with this borough. Anytime I put an email out, Jonathan Pera has immediately responded. I can't be here, I'll be on vacation next week. The mayor and Dan, our DPW superintendent, will be in the meeting with Mr. Stupian and the county's hydrologist, as well as the engineer, to review. Mr. Stupian has all of the plans. So I asked Joe Stupian to please ensure that we can look at these plans. A lot of these studies, thankfully, have already been done. They're very expensive to conduct. So he's going to use existing data to help with figure out how we can come together and come to a collaborative, hopefully, consensus on this bridge. So that's happening. With regard to the lantern flies, Dan had sent me an email that they were going to come out this morning. I didn't get a chance to confirm that. They wanted to look at the locations. Randy, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure they have the locations they're going for.
Numerous locations.
What's that?
They have numerous locations.
Yes, so they're going to be spraying within 7 to 10 days. The spraying will be put on all social media pages so people know and are aware, what to expect. Of course, they give us their MDS pages, which are 18 pages long. But in any event, just some precautionary things. I don't know right now if you need to keep your window shut or what needs to happen during the spraying, but that's expected to happen in the near future. I just would, what was the other thing I have here? Joe. I just also wanted to mention about the Civic Center, and this is really for the council. I had spoken to the mayor about putting a claim in for the mold to our insurance carrier, which I did. I initiated a claim. I don't know when this matter is going to be settled, and I know there's a lot of groups that depend on that building for meetings and whatnot. Depending on how that goes, it might make sense if perhaps maybe Meridia can just repair the roof, and if we can just remediate the mold in the building to at least make it habitable for people to use that as a meeting room until such time. I don't know how quickly things are going to move with this Civic Center. That's something that you might want to think about.
And Dan and I, we spoke, and he said he could patch the roof a little bit and get it usable. We just have to address the leaking and remove everything inside. We'd have to Service Pro or some type of agency would come in and clean the inside.
We have to remove the mold, put the ceiling tiles up. A light is going up on a pole at Rotary Park.
Oh my God, really? If you've done anything today, that's a big one right there.
Yes.
Deal with Jersey Central is impossible.
So it's a Verizon pole. So this was initiated by Mr. Carl Padula, who was very insistent that we need a light there, and everyone agreed that it is a little dark in that area. So my understanding, the light, I was told the light is, a work order's been put in, so a light will go on there.
That's great.
And I just really want to say in closing, life brings opportunities at times that you don't expect. It's just a bittersweet situation for me. One of the things that attracted to me about this town was the fact that how many of you are so committed and dedicated to this town. I don't see it often. I don't see the passion and the intellect of a governing body often, sometimes, although.
Don't say that for the new place you're going, they don't want to hear that.
Now, sometimes they just like to walk around and handshake folks. I mean, your reports are amazing, how involved you are. You know, it's just amazing, all that you give, in addition to being an elected official. I just want to say it has been an absolute honor to serve all of you. You know, it just is very difficult for me to sit here saying this, but I hope that everyone in this room realizes that I'm around. I have friends all the time, you know, I'm a phone call and email away. I will be here for my successor. Any questions they have, you know, we've worked really hard together to get where we are today, and let's keep the momentum going. And I'd like to continue doing that for this town and for all of you. And I just, again, want to say thank you again for putting your faith in me and appointing me, because it really is a position of honor, and it's a position that not many people can hold. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Any questions for our standing administrator? Seeing none? Okay. Could I have a motion to open the meeting for public comment? Second. Line, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Rich Greenberg, Washington Avenue. I want to first just say I want to salute our OEM coordinator, Al Evangelista, our CERT coordinator, Deborah Ross, and also Alan Mockbix for establishing in the CERT team a ham radio emergency group that right now consists of 7 members, myself included, in support of the community for emergencies that supplements what we already do. I also, in no lack of respect, want to comment that I'm a great fan of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and enjoy their sniping, and I have witnessed some of the same here at the council meeting tonight. It's entertaining, it doesn't belong here.
I agree.
And I hope that the issues that are underlying can be resolved elsewhere. In the meantime, I thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Step up.
Mike Stone, 25 West Lennox. First of all, thank you for the report, and the fact that they're going to do something with the bridge. I really felt strongly that there should be some thought put into what they were going to do, so thanks for that. I hope they're still going to consider putting up town,
I'll get Sharon on that, she's good at that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'll see you. And the last thing I want to say is, thank you for the work you've done for us. I hope Pompton made a very good impression on you. It sounds like it did. We have a lot of good people, and you've helped a lot of good people here. So thanks for that. Best of luck in your new position, and I hope things go well for you. And thank you for the personal interaction that we also had.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
Dennis Kilberg, Mountainside Drive. First, my condolences, Bonnie, I didn't even know until now. Paula, good luck. It's been a pleasure. Since last council meeting, a resident actually provided me with a letter from 2018 referring to ATVs being driven behind their homes and trees being cut down. This is the property that is on Whitney Place.
All right, so let's stop you right there. We're not here to talk about any property. It's in the building department, and it's in court. So we're not here to bring up another property again.
I understand that, but there's something in this letter that violates, it's got nothing to do with the building department.
Okay.
The structure.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, that's got to be handled by the building department. It has to do with, this has been going on from 2018. It's not from it's not just because it was on social media recently. There were trees that were cut down. This is sent from the Borough of Pompton Lakes, from Kevin Boyle. It's got nothing to do with you, Paula. It was CC'd to Mike Sarah, the Chief of Police Augusto, Ed Merrill, and also Randy Hinton from the Shade Tree Commission. And it says that in here that the activities that were being conducted were prohibited by Borough Code. I just want to know if, and Borough Code is enforceable by the police department. I just wanted to know if there was any kind of enforcement for cutting the trees down. Because obviously these residents, they gave this to me.
Okay, but did these residents give it to the police department?
It was brought to their attention.
All right, so then it would be in a police department matter.
Well, what's concerning to me is that the person that they're referring to is he sits on a board.
Again, we can't start talking that way. We can't rice people, we can't talk about them that way. So you could,
So, Mr. Mayor, if I could weigh in. Members from the public could comment
But I
on it,
can't answer.
but we can't answer, we
There you
can't
go.
respond. So if there are questions that are asked, again, similar to what my advice was earlier this evening, I would advise everyone not to comment back, not to answer questions, and I would also advise the public that the reason why questions may not be answered isn't because there's any degree of anything other than the fact that they're following attorney advice and are prohibited from engaging in that discussion. With that caveat, certainly someone from the public is able
Pretty
to
sure,
comment.
yes. I'm pretty sure my First Amendment rights
I
apply to
indicated
the
that the
Borough of
members of the
Pompton.
public, including
Okay,
yourself.
no, thank you. What is concerning to me is this individual sits on a board, a redevelopment board, and he's doing stuff like this. Putting structures on town property, violating borough code. So it's 2018. You need to advise the town when you put in a new water heater. So I don't know how, from 2018, that this all happened. In addition, it's not that, nobody has an ulterior motive. I don't think there's any ulterior motive. There's right and there's wrong. Nobody's above the law. And this should have been addressed from 2018. You need permits to put up structures. You need all kinds of things from the town. So I don't know how this was allowed. And the thing is that residents from that area are telling me about it. Because either they're intimidated to come up here and say it themselves because they live in that area, or they're fear of retribution of some sort. I don't know.
They could have brought it to the police department and then investigated by the police department. That's the
Well, I don't know
typical,
if
that's the
I don't know if
typical
it
way.
was investigated by the.
I don't know either, I can't speak to that.
No, I mean, it was from 2018, so maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I would be guessing it wasn't since there's a structure over there. So, and it's
So
just
let's,
concerning. It's just concerning.
when you,
It's concerning that there's someone on a board that is doing this. It's also concerning that someone on another board thinks that this isn't a big deal. I don't know what club you have to be in to just do what you want on borough property. But it's concerning to me, and it should be concerning to everybody in the town, all the residents, because this is just something that shouldn't happen. We're not talking about brushes, shrubbery, a fence line that's 10 feet off. That's different. I understand
how is that
happens all
different?
the
That is
time.
not different.
Well,
according to
putting
what
a
you're
structure
telling
with a
me,
bush 6 inches off
if
your
it's
property
if it's a minute off, or, a centimeter off, or 10 feet off, it's still illegal.
It is illegal. Thank
So
you.
you
Thank
can't-
you. Thank you, Mayor, for.
But let me explain something, how our building department works. You might not know this.
Okay,
We're
fine.
proactive, not reactive. We don't have a full-time staff. They are not out driving around looking for concerns. Someone calls, we go out and look at the property. No one in our town drives around looking for concerns. We don't have the staff to do that.
Okay.
So the only way someone would find out from the building department is if someone called them.
Well, obviously, somebody called. in
I don't know what you're
2018
showing me, it
about
has
trees
nothing to do with me, I don't know what it's
Well, you were
about.
CC'd on this, so,
That's great, that was how long ago?
5 years ago.
Yeah, okay,
5
so
years ago.
I'm gonna say it again, if there was a complaint filed with the police department, which I will look at into, okay, if they came back with no conclusion, then there was no conclusion.
No conclusion, okay.
Mark, is it okay that I ask a question?
Sure.
I just need clarity, Dennis. Exactly, what are we discussing? Is
Well,
it,
you
is it
can't-
illegal? Just a question. Are we talking about, so just to summarize, so I understand, we're talking about illegal structures being put up, trees being put down, and ATVs that are being ridden on this same property, or the general, or we focus solely on one issue, like?
I don't know.
Structure.
It's, you know what, it's not the matter of the structure or the ATVs or the trees being taken down, that's all illegal. We all know that, everybody over here.
But that's the premise of the letter.
That's the premise of the letter. But my concern is that there's people on boards that think that you could do this, that this is okay. It's not okay. That's my problem. I don't, like I said, nobody's above the law. Just because you sit on a board, don't mean you can just start cutting trees down behind your property and do whatever you want. That's not how it should be. Like I said,
Okay,
it's right
I
and
gotta
wrong.
have to line up.
Okay, I understand, but,
Do you have any other questions? Paul?
No, I do not. Thank you, man.
that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
Tim Chose, 59 Durham Street. I just have a question about the Meridia project behind the police station here. I just want to start by saying I'm, as a member of the MUA, I'm kind of privy to some information that, the public doesn't get to hear unless they come to the meeting. I am not here speaking on behalf of them at all. I'm here speaking on behalf of myself as a resident. I just want to know how we can have a project that seems as far along as this project is. They've got footings in the ground, they've got foundations, they've got pillars being poured, concrete structures up, and they don't have a building permit.
Because they have a cement permit and that
Well,
covers the structure.
I understand that there's reasons for, purchasing permits at different times because permits are very expensive. But the developer has an agreement with the MUA to pay us a certain amount of money when the building permits are issued. So we check periodically.
Are you speaking from the MUA or yourself?
No, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm speaking from knowledge that I have, okay? So we check it every so often, and the last time we checked to see if there was a building permit that was issued, the answer that was given from our building department was there is no building permit issued because we don't have an approved set of plans, because the last set of plans that were submitted were substandard and didn't meet code. So my question is, how can we have a project that seems so far ahead? We've got foundations and footings and, 2 and 3 stories of concrete pillars that are sticking out of the ground over there, and they don't even have a set of plans for the building that's gonna sit on top of them.
So the plans, the permits they have are for cement. Anything involving cement, they're allowed to build and use. They're applying for their other permits, just like every other project they're reviewed. Most times, our department finds some concern with them, they go back to the builder to change the plans or fix the plans, and that's where they are for the rest of it. They have no approvals to build anything except cement right now.
But wouldn't it make sense to have the set of plans for the building that's gonna be constructed on top of what you're putting in the ground now?
I can't speak for the
At
building
least
department, I think
approved?
that's normally how they do it, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. So will somebody look into that to find out?
Yeah, I
why?
can call Sal and ask him, and he's gonna tell me they have cement permits, that's what he's gonna tell me.
I understand they have cement permits, but they don't have an approved building on.
Yeah, but they don't need it to have the cement permit, so they don't need that for that. So they can do whatever they need to within the cement, and then later on get whatever they need in their permits. That's the way I understand it.
Okay. The way I understand it, if I want to build a house in Plumpton Lakes, I come with a set of plans
that includes the foundation, the footing, the building.
That's if you want to do it, if you want to do it all at once, but you don't have to do it that way.
And, I'm pretty sure, because I've gone through the process, and they give you a packet, and they say, here, fill out all this paperwork, which includes all of that. And you bring it back for approval, and then you buy your permits. You can buy your permits in stages, but everything has to be approved at one time.
I will ask Sal and get you an answer.
Okay.
Anyone else from the public like to speak?
How you doing? David Bleachy, 54 Wanacue Ave. Since we're speaking of projects going on, the one in the center of town, that looks like the Beirut bomb site. Anything new going on with that?
Yeah, there is actually, yeah, we just had a conversation today. He is into his final permits to get approved. He's waiting for the same thing. He had to fix some changes in his plans, but he's in the final stages of getting his permits done. Once he gets them approved and pays his escrow, he has 6 months to start building on that, or he loses his pilot.
Okay. So potentially nothing could be done for at least 6 months, potentially.
Potentially, yeah, but I mean, he's losing money. He's waiting on the permits. That's what he's waiting on to start building.
Are they being fined at all, or anything to make them go a little quicker?
Unfortunately,
It's been so long.
I agree with you, and I tried to find as much as we can. He hasn't, except for the debris that was in the back or any garbage. The county has no issue with the awning that they approved in the front, leaving it there. It's the county road, so that's their approval. And the back he keeps neat. That's all he has to do, unfortunately. And look, I agree. It does not look good, and it was a mistake to do it the way they did it. There's no question in my mind that that's true. And we've looked into some avenues. The best we can come up with is this 60-day thing, or 6-month, I'm sorry.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Avenue. Meaning absolutely no disrespect to you, Mr. Mayor.
But
I've never heard the silliest, stupidest comment that you can have a being able to build concrete, but you don't have a building.
Is that common? That's what it is. That's how they do it in steps.
I've been 45 years to construct.
I can just tell you that's a normal practice. All these buildings.
It's not normal practice.
All the other buildings that were built were done the same way.
You need a building permit to build a.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you call the building department and ask them?
I'll go. I have no problem with that at all.
Okay.
But that was, I mean, no disrespect.
That's how, it's not disrespect, that's how it's set up. He got approvals for that permit.
Well, listen, Sal was a union carpenter like I was for 45 years. I'll talk to him and see what he has to say about that. And we'll leave it at that. September 8th, from what I understand, is the date that our borough administrator will be leaving. Just in concerns, our liaison couldn't make our meeting for Shade Tree Commission. We have different things coming up. We have core training for a new member. After September 8th, who do we go to for?
We're taking care of that. We'll leave it in our hands. We'll have it working.
You'll have an answer by then?
I won't have an answer. We'll have an answer.
New administrator by then?
I can't speak to that yet, but we'll have something in place.
All right, because, it's a concern, so.
It is a concern for all of us.
And also, I want to thank Councilwoman Kent for at the night out, she did provide trees that were saved from the
Third grade
school that Councilwoman Polidari and I and her went to. And they were a big hit. Those 31 trees, people really appreciate it. So I just want to publicly thank her and Councilwoman Polidari.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion. Second.
Ooh, there's a lot of people there. Councilman DeLine, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Approve to the floor. Any approve to the floor?
I just would like to address just a couple of the residents that came in.
Sure.
Just, Mrs. Zablocki, I liked the way the Pride group handled the event. I think it was a fresh event. It was from people of knowledge. I would be concerned about putting that kind of event and any other type of event in a regulated community because we don't really, and a lot of times you're just not up on things. So I thought the way it worked at the library, it was a cultural facility, and I thought it was a good way to do it. And I'm sure they would come back and do it again. They did do a great job. So I would say keep it the way it was rather than discuss it with the rec commission, because the rec commission would probably not be able to understand
I think,
what was going on.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think what she was asking, though, is to put it under a liaisonship.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I just think the way it went.
Okay,
Was
I agree.
really, why fix something that's not broken is all I'm saying. As far as Mr. Popoff, I'm just curious, and maybe this is a question for our attorney. Can't we condemn that piece of area?
It's a different property that he's talking about. There's connecting properties, that's the problem.
But if it's that bad where it's gonna collapse, or it's already collapsed and we can't get an answer, can't we do an eminent domain or something? He's been here, I don't know, like 12 years. Can't we do something?
The problem is, it's his neighbor's property that we're talking about the easement on. So he can't speak for his neighbor.
Okay, but he seems to assume that something's gonna collapse on his property. That is my understanding.
If there is a dangerous condition that the borough inspectors feel is jeopardizing health and safety, then there are certain steps that the borough can take. Eminent domain isn't one of them.
Oh, it's not, okay.
But there could be maintenance issues that could be enforced against a property owner who's allowing their property to fall into a degree of disrepair. But I don't know what the full extent of that is. I've just been brought in to analyze the easement-related documents.
And look, I understand his frustration, because this has been going on probably 12, 14 years. No, and I no disrespect to him, this has been going on
not
a
at
long
all,
time.
not at all.
But I think under Paul's guidance and Mark's guidance, we've made the most improvement on this than we've ever made in the last 12 years. In the last year and a half, we've made more movement than in the last 11 before that.
No argument. I just was thinking, if this easement thing seems to be, we're kind of nuts, we're just not getting there yet. So I just thought if there's a different way to go, let's do it. That's all I'm asking.
I think we're getting close.
Okay.
We are, we're getting close, and there is money available to fix the matter once it's determined the easement, because if there's not an easement there, there's going to be a negotiation with the property owner either direction, as I pointed out. But please know that this was the first video of the pipe that showed a separation.
Yeah.
So the video from 10 years ago never showed failure. And then in 2020, there was the thought that the manhole, and the manhole we're talking about is when the reinforced concrete pipe meets the corrugated metal pipe. So when those two meet, rather than putting a manhole, which would be proper construction, a bunch of masonry concrete was put there to glue concrete with metal. That is how since deteriorated, and when it was evaluated by our engineer in 2020, he said it has not failed, but I can't predict when it will. We need to do a survey, and we need to start moving on how we're going to address the matter.
Okay.
Fast forward, I came in here, the whole thing with the easement, that is a big issue, part of this, because this is on private property, even though it's our pipe.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. The document actually goes back even further.
It's like reading a 1700 Bible to try to figure out what that's.
It's going back 1907, so I have asked under our borough attorneys.
And it involves wills, bequests by wills. It's
pretty
convoluted.
in depth, and they said, listen, this deeper dive is going to take a bit more time.
Okay, I thought if there was a different way, so there's always, look out of the box.
I don't think there's an immediate,
Okay.
There's a lot going on the other person's property, but according to the engineering reports, they didn't indicate that this pipe was responsible for that.
Okay.
It wasn't until this year did we realize through the recent TV, took place in May, that there are separations in the pipe.
Oh, okay, all right, that was just my point. If there's a different way to do it, let's do it, but we'll give it another.
And I'd like to get this going, and the engineer knows. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of dropping in that manhole
Yeah.
to reconnect and reinforce that connection where the concrete pipe meets corrugated metal, and then also to replace that 8-foot section of pipe. And it's not that much, it's not a lot of money. But we can't do it in 10 feet, even if we have an easement.
It's on
We're still
private
gonna need
property.
a construction easement as well.
Okay, all right, that was just my point on that. And then the third one is, I'm very concerned with the Summit Falls issues. I talked to someone about that, I want to say 2 months ago, because I saw the jackhammering, heard the
Yep.
jackhammering. I'm like, who's in charge of, that permit, I don't know who issued it.
So the way
but-
that works is, like I explained, our engineer
Yeah.
does the expecting of what's being done, to make sure it's being done properly and to permit. When I got contacted by some of those residents, I
Yeah.
took a drive over, I saw what they were talking about. They immediately called Sal, and Sal immediately called our engineer.
Okay.
And I think our engineer came down on a Saturday, actually.
Yeah, because
And took a
it's-
look at it.
Yeah.
And closed the project on that, from that point.
Good, okay, they probably should have done it, because they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I did talk to, I can't remember who it was, DPW or whoever it was, and they said they had a permit. So whoever's watching our permits, when you have situations where they're looking at, I am concerned about those homes on that
I
mountain.
actually emailed Sal regarding the Meridian situation, and the gentleman raised a point where he was concerned why wasn't shoring put in.
Yes, he has a
I
point.
don't know how steep we're talking about.
It's steep.
It's steep.
Steep.
So, what reinforcements have been put in, and that needs to be looked at.
Well,
And if the contractor or property owner needs to do that,
yeah,
that needs to happen.
I would just like to do that sooner than later.
OSHA has certain
Yeah.
requirements on the construction
Yeah.
site for something.
Exactly, so.
So I want to thank,
This
yeah,
gentleman is,
I want to thank the Summit Falls folks
bringing
coming
that to
in.
our attention.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Summit Falls for bringing that to our attention. I wish they came sooner, because I think it's a bad thing that's going on. Thank you.
Okay, any other, no? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Councilman Devine, Councilman Cruz. Thank you, everybody.
Now I gotta find my phone. Lloyd said he didn't see it. Yeah, he never finds it.
No,